I grew up in Tennessee, in Memphis, Tennessee. I went to school at Ole Miss, so uh, I have a similar story to a lot of people out of undergrad trying to move to New York. I was in finance in New York for 5 years before coming back to school. I didn't know what I was doing then, kind of just applied on a lot of websites to different jobs. Of course, the law of numbers says you'll finally get one if you're somewhat qualified. So I finally did. It took a while. That's a whole different story. So I did that for 5 years. I applied to a few business schools in, I guess, 2010 and 2011, and ended up starting here at Dartmouth in the fall of 2011. I'm kind of back in the job market a little bit. There's a chance I could go back to TakeRabbit, but that's kind of down the road to be determined. In business school, of course, you have the career office, which brings in tons of jobs, but the vast majority of those are large corporations that have very standard hiring practices. So I did apply to a job in digital commerce at MX, I guess, back in January of last year. Did not hear back about that, and it was kind of back to your original point of the just apply in a resume. Granted, it was a little bit more structured and a little bit more of a process, but outside of that, it was mainly a decent bit of networking, getting to New York, to Boston, to a few conferences, meeting with people, but not a whole lot, not much in the way of applying for other jobs. So I'd heard of TakeRabbit in some point in mid 2011. I used it in New York the fall of 2011. There's a restaurant, you may know it, called Teresi. It used to be you had to wait in line for an hour or more to get a table. My parents were in town, so instead of leaving them for an hour, I paid someone $20 to go stand in line for an hour, and they took care of it for us. And it was this light bulb moment. This is really cool, and this might really go somewhere. So from that point on, it was really in the forefront of my mind as a place that I would love to work. I did, I followed them very closely. I read everything I could about them, and I even was going through some of the profiles of people on the website that work there, and just reading about them, understanding what they're doing. Around the same time I was doing that, they actually posted a job at Tuck for an internship. When you go to the profile page, you actually see on just about every employee, hire this person. So by that, I mean every employee at TakeRabbit is also a TakeRabbit. So it wasn't some really idea I had. I guess that was what kind of struck my mind is, wow, this guy posted a job at Tuck. I can hire him for a few dollars to maybe talk about the internship. It was as simple as that, and I literally clicked the hire button, and I kind of put my little spiel in the description of the task. Excuse me. And I guess he liked it. Originally, the task was to say, let's talk on the phone about the internship. Another guy you may write about, Tristan Walker, a few years back, who got a job at Foursquare. I definitely took a page from his playbook, told this guy I was going to be out in San Fran in a couple of weeks when I had no plans to be. So long story short, we did email a few times. I sent him my resume. I sent him a cover letter of sorts. It was more just like an email with some bullet points. Flew out there a couple weeks later, met with them on I believe, Tuesday morning, flew back that afternoon, and was offered the job the next day. I think what worked for me with TakeRabbit was just, one, I was really focused on TakeRabbit, and it came to be that was really what I wanted to do. So when you have all your energies focused on learning about this company, to the point where you get to the interview and you're able to really articulate the kind of things that you could do for them, your thoughts about their business, what their challenges are, what needs to be fixed, even down to micro product details. So that's, I guess, a long way of saying just being really prepared. I did target the startup world and primarily stuff in tech, so probably read Twitter and articles from Twitter in class more than I should have, which is, I guess, it paid off in some ways, but it's just being thoughtful and prepared. And once you kind of get to that point, not letting it kind of slip through your hands by just going through the motions. Be creative and be thoughtful about what you're doing, not just sending a resume and cover letter and hoping for the best.